Serbia has recently become a major transit country for migrants seeking to come to Europe through the Western Balkans route. Over the past 10 months alone, 90,000 migrants have crossed through Serbia, compared to 60,000 over the entire year of 2021. Dana Alboz, who's a journalist for France 24's sister outlet, InfoMigrants, has just returned from the Eastern European country, where migrants remain stranded at the border. Hi, Dana. So how do you describe the situation there, and what makes Serbia a transit country on the Western Balkans route?
Well, as you said, we were in Serbia, and I can clearly say that tiredness and exhausted people were very clear that we could see on the border all the time. They were all have traveled through several countries in very difficult conditions. And Serbia, as you said, is only a transit country for most of the people. They don't want to stay in Serbia. And so they are planning to head up north in order to go to Hungary and then to other European countries. So after entering Serbia through its southern borders with Bulgaria, North Macedonia, or Kosovo, they pass by Belgrade, where they do not really have access to their basic needs, such as food, healthcare, or water, or even accommodation. We met dozens of people at the central bus station. They were all exhausted from their journey, and they shared with us horrible stories about physical violence they faced by border guards while crossing the border from Turkey towards Greece or Bulgaria. Many of them arrive with injuries. Their feet are full of wounds. We could see how some of them tried to cover these wounds with patch bandages, like very simple stuff. Although wounded and tired, migrants, as I said, do not plan to stay in Serbia. And so the vast majority of them come from Syria, Afghanistan, Morocco, or Tunisia, and they want to leave the country as soon as possible, as Serbia doesn't really provide much for asylum seekers. And so while there is more control on other migration routes like the Central Mediterranean or in other European and in the Balkan country, we are seeing that Serbia is becoming a central point in the Western Balkan route.
So, Dana, how do authorities then manage these new arrivals, and what about European policy?
Exactly. Officially speaking, Serbia has about 19 official reception centers in the country, funded by the EU. The capacity is around 6,000 places, but as we said earlier, there are around 10,000 people in the country. However, these official facilities are very far from the borders, and even the living conditions in these reception centers are degrading and are horrible. People, they have very limited access to basic services such as toilets and showers and so on. But Serbia, we should not forget that Serbia submitted its application to EU membership, and actually that was like 10 years ago, and the government, the Serbian government, is under the pressure to align its policy, its migration policy, with the EU. So at its southern border, authorities have started to build a fence at North Macedonia, while the European agency Frontex made agreements with Serbia and other neighboring countries on border management. And they want just to stop people from coming or entering into the EU. In the north, Hungary has built a 3 to 4 meter high border fence equipped with thermal imaging cameras, and it's being monitored by soldiers and dogs and so on. And so all of this border is highly controlled, and we can see that people are really struggling in order to cross these borders. And at the same time, there is no fence between Serbia and Romania.
What is it like? You talked a little bit about it, but if we could detail what it's like for people who are trying to cross the borders.
Exactly. We met many migrants in the north who are stranded at the border, not being able to leave the country. Some of them, I can say, have been stayed for months in these borders. They try to cross to Romania, from Serbia to Romania, in order to avoid the fence at the border between Serbia and Hungary. And then from Romania, they try to cross into Hungary, because there are no fence as well over there. But they said that they are facing violent pushbacks by border guards. We met a 23-year-old Syrian called Firas. He told us that he tried to cross the border 12 times from Serbia to Romania. But each time he tries to cross the border, he said that he was forcibly sent back to Serbia. He talked about being beaten, humiliated by border guards. He said that both Hungarian and Romanian guards, they force people back to Serbia and deny them access to asylum procedures. And we all know that these actions and practices are prohibited under international human rights law.
Indeed. Dana, so what are the consequences then of these policies?
As we said, when we are talking about more control on the border, this means that more people are stranded at the border, living in very bad conditions. In the north, for example, where we have been, as we can see on the map, in Subotica and Sombor, there are two main reception centers. The capacity of these centers are very low and they are overcrowded. For example, in Subotica, we have been to the reception center there. The capacity is around 200 places, although there are 600 people living there. In Sombor, the situation is the same, while the estimated number is around 1,000 people living there. Most of the people, they live outside these official facilities. They sleep outside. They don't even have tents. They don't have access to anything, not to mention that they don't have even access to healthcare. And as we said, there are reports about injuries and there are reports about health issues and skin infections as well. So NGOs who are in the north of Serbia, they are talking about like maybe the situation is getting worse and worse, and that situation might even explode, as they say. And so in the village of Maidan, for example, less than 2 kilometers from the Hungarian and Romanian border, we met dozens of people coming mainly from Syria. There has been like some minors and we could see like a little bit of families, and there has been even people coming from Tunisia, pregnant women, and you could see like different people over there. Thousands of people live in squats and abandoned villages near the borders, and some migrants stay for months blocked at the border. There are reports about, alarming situation about dangerous human traffickers in the region. Many of the activists we met consider that this policy is pushing people and refugees in the hand of smugglers, making them more vulnerable and likely to be abused by criminals.
Dana Alboz, thank you very much for that essential reporting, and we'll be keeping an eye on that.
Thank you.